So Abel, I want to dive a little bit in. Your podcast, The Fat Burning Man Show, has over 50 million downloads. When was that aha moment where you're like, I've got something here? When was that aha moment?
This is actually kind of funny because back then, it was like 2011, 2012, there weren't great options that were obvious anyway for podcast hosting,
Mm.
right? So like when you have a podcast, you're on the hook to deliver it to people and pay for that hosting cost. So I just had my episodes, which were audio only, hosted on AWS, where you kind of just like pay per download essentially,
Mhm.
which is fine if it's not too many downloads. But I got the bill. Like, this is before there was a great way of looking at stats. Maybe there were, but it was before Libsyn, a lot of Podbean, and a lot of the other ones that are out there. And so, like, I didn't know what my stats were. I had no real way of knowing that it was going up or becoming popular. But this was just a few months after I launched. I get my bill, and it was like normally $8 or $11 for like all my websites, all my stuff, and it was like $242. I'm
Oh.
like, oh crap, what's happening here? At first I thought it was bad, and then I realized that it had caught on
Yeah.
pretty quick, and then it just shot um straight up. And I was fighting with Jillian Michaels for a while and some of the mainstream kind of players in health in the podcast space, but mainstream players. And I, as an indie person, was really psyched to start beating them out and try to open that up for other indie creators, because that's who we really need to hear from. Not just more corporate puppets who are everywhere, but indie creators who actually have something to say.
I love that. It's super exciting. So you get this huge bill, over 200 bucks. You're probably like, oh crap. Wait, is this good or bad? Trying to sort it all out. But now you're kind of under the gun, right? You're under the knife. You got to figure out how you're actually going to pay this bill. Because
Well, now it's costing me money, because I
exactly.
wasn't selling anything. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how did you pivot that attention into actual sales? What did you do?
I transitioned intentionally and pretty slowly over the course of a year, maybe even a year and a half. And I got a whole bunch of different projects going. At the
Mm.
time, um, digital cookbooks and apps were really quite new for people. And I was pretty active in the ancestral health, Weston A. Price, paleo movements and conferences and all of that. And so I made a lot of great connections with other young indie creators and entrepreneurs. And through collaboration and through working with each other, we came up with a number of things, just kind of playing around, in our 20s, um, that worked out insanely well through giveaways, partnering with some brands to give away. I think, yeah, my buddy gave away, I think it was 100 pounds of bacon in a giveaway,
Oh,
like $2,000.
where
Smallest
was
area. And we're
I?
just, this is, yeah, exactly. We're like, this is fun. And as soon as we could start selling courses, digital cookbooks, ebooks, and doing all the work that it took to do that, from programming to formatting to just like, all these different passwords for these different platforms and different pieces of software that you have to have running to make all that work. Through that, as soon as I could pay my bills and meet the basically just like minimum amount that I needed to live
Mm.
and run my own personal life, as soon as I could do that with the income from the side hustle, from the health thing, I did it. And I remember it was just like a weekend. I sat down and looked at the numbers, and it was like, I think I sold with my partner $17,000, or maybe it was $30,000 in a weekend
Wow.
of digital cookbooks. And we're just like, wow. And he was still kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the military. And this helped him, transition and really become independent as well. And that was inspiring, but it's been nonstop hardcore difficult, I would say, pretty much ever since, for the 10 years now that we've been doing this full time. And my wife is my partner in all of this and has been for about 9, almost 10 years. It's constantly difficult
Well, and that's
to
kind of the
grow and
dream and
keep
something that
growing
not
and all
everyone
that.
sees, right? For after hours entrepreneurs, you're putting that after hour time. You're just kind of waiting for that $30,000 weekend so you can say, okay, I'm good. It's time. I'm able to go all in, right? That's the dream. And thank you so much for watching. I'm glad you enjoyed this episode. I've got several other episodes right here for you. Smash one of these videos to make sure that you don't miss out on the tips, tools, and tactics of industry experts. Let's take that side hustle full time. Smash one of these links.